Wait, Luluca is actually good? Hey, it's your boy Freshie Fletch and I'm back with another video. Today is my first impressions for Summer Luluca. I don't want to give any spoilers, but man, I'm really interested in this unit. I have some big plans for her. I'm definitely pulling, and I think that she might just be a staple in the meta. Anyway, if you like these style of videos, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the video. Yo, Summer Luluca, man, I'm so excited for this one. She actually looks pretty good. Spoiler alert, by the way. So this is the S3 animation right here. We'll probably see it again during the actual preview. As you guys know, I usually skip through the lore a little bit. I'm more interested on the unit stats and viability. And it looks like right off the bat, she is an Earth soulweaver. So I'm thinking like Destina, you know, something around that area. Let's go to her stats really quick. Let's see what her stats look like before we go any further. So right off the bat, you'll see that she has some very high effect resistance, which is good, and it's kind of what you expect from a soul weaver, right? 30% there, plus an extra 27% from the imprint concentration, which puts her at a total of 57%. Now, if you add like a Shamadra staff with an extra 25% or something like that, she's gonna have a lot of effect resist, which is good for dodging those AOLs, you know, sometimes Payras or anything that really wants to try to debuff her. She should be able to resist, hopefully. Also, you'll notice that, you know, she has decent health and speed like any soul weaver does, but health and defense. But I wanted to get to her speed here. Her speed is at 105, not super fast. So she's not gonna be like an Amelia or something like that. She's only 105, so she's gonna be a slightly slower soul weaver. I'm sure you can add some speed with some speed subs, but even so, I wouldn't have my hopes up too much for her being a speedster or an opener. Let's move into her skill 2. So her skill 2, it does look like a passive here. It says after an enemy uses a non-attack skill, gains 2 focus and increases combat readiness of the caster by 15%. This can only be activated once every 2 turns. After using a skill when focus is full, consumes all focus and activates Luluca's special delivery. I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to get onto get onto why this is important. Attacks on enemies who are interrupting her delivery, dispelling 2 buffs and an 85% chance to inflict silence for 1 turn and 100% to decrease hit chance for 2 turns before decreasing skill cooldowns of the caster by 1 turn. So this actually is very strong. There's a couple of things that you might want to think about first before you judge this ability. For one, you do see that it does decrease her skill cooldown, so I know everyone's thinking Lua, right? Which, yeah, I mean, could be effective versus Lua, but you also have to realize she's a focused character. So she's gonna, I think at the beginning, it doesn't mention anything here about the beginning of the battle about her having focus. So assuming that she only gets the 2 focus once someone uses a non-attack skill, and it can only be activated once per turn. Correct? I'm pretty sure it can only be activated once per turn. Oh no, sorry, once every 2 turns. So if she gets that, let's say Lua does her S3, it will still reset her, granted that she doesn't already have 3 focus stacked up, because as you guys know, with focus characters, usually you need a total of 5 focus. All right, so with that being said, I don't really see her being such a Lua counter, but they did show some tech versus Conqueror Lilius, which might prove to be important, but we'll see that towards the end of the video. In addition, that effect is actually extremely powerful. We're looking at possibly a full team silence, or at least 3 out of 4 silence. We're looking at decreased hit chance. So that's almost crippling the enemy team if they don't have a cleanse. With that being said, she's a soul weaver. She's gonna be building effect resistance. We don't know if we're gonna have enough stats to build effectiveness on her as well. So she might be missing a few things. However, it's likely that she's gonna hit the opponent's DPS, and that's really what you're looking for. Overall, I think this skill is extremely strong. I don't know how viable it's going to be because of the focus requirement, but let's get on to our other skills and see how much focus she actually gets. Here it should show the animation here, and this is for her I guess this is her S2 activation. I thought that was her S3, but it looks like it may be her S2 there. And if we go back just to see what that damage looks like, Okay. They didn't really show much damage. It looks like it's not doing any. Kind of similar to specialty change Inos, where she does her S3. Doesn't really do much damage, but it's more of the effect that you're looking for. So when you look at this, it does do damage. So you do have to worry about things like Angel of Light Angelica, because she will cleanse one of those debuffs and give her team skill nullifier. So that's something to be on the lookout for. Here you'll see she also got that 1 turn decrease. Meaning that she had 5 focus before after the skill was used. Okay, moving on to her skill 3. With quality customer service, dispels 2 debuffs from all allies and grants increased defense for 2 turns and an ice cream. Ice cream, after being attacked, recovered 20% of max health. Dispelled after being attacked. So this is sort of like a guardian ice crystals a little bit. Basically, once they get attacked, they're going to recover some health. It also coincides with Apoc Ravi's passive. So imagine an Apoc Ravi that's almost under 50%, maybe like, you know, 55% HP. She gets attacked. Her passive heals her. The ice cream heals her, and then guardian ice crystal heals her as well. You're looking at huge health increase. And just know how hard it is to kill those units who are on guardian ice crystal. This ice cream as an undispellable buff actually seems to be pretty strong. In addition, there's not a lot of meta units right now that are giving full wide team increased defense, so that's going to be very important. She's going to be able to keep your team alive. She's going to be healing them up as well with this passive buff. Mind you, the ice cream, although it's undispellable, that still does not bypass unbuffable. So if the enemy team puts unbuffable on your team prior to you activating this, or vice versa, then to my knowledge, it will not activate. They will not get that ice cream because of the unbuffable. So you do have to be careful about that. But once your unit has it, it can't be stripped, which is good. So here it looks like it's also on a 4-turn cooldown. So I don't know, she may get it off once, maybe twice per game. But another thing to notice here is that it also gives 3 focus. So keep that in mind, because you get 3 focus from this. And remember, her S2 passive will activate once she has 5 focus. It also says after an enemy uses non-attack skill, gain 2 focus. So what this means, I know I'm throwing out a lot of numbers here, but what this means is if she S3s and then someone else does a non-attack skill from the enemy team, that will put her at her 5 focus requirement. The only issue is, in order to activate Luluca's special delivery, she has to use a skill when her focus is full. So she doesn't actually activate it automatically like some other units do. You know, when they reach 5 focus, they automatically activate the ability. Unfortunately for Luluca specifically, she's going to have to use a skill prior to activating the effect. So that's just something to to keep in mind here. All right, and then we'll go ahead and move on to her skill 1. Skill 1 attacks all enemies with overflowing energy and increases combat readiness of the ally with the highest combat readiness up to 15%. You can think of, a lot of people will equate this to Mediated Queric, how his S1 pushes up your highest CP unit, or combat readiness, your CR unit. Basically the same thing here. Nothing too much to write home about. It also seems to give that additional effect to give the increased combat readiness to all allies. I think we saw that in Amid. I think we saw that in can't remember the vampire girl, Abigail. We saw that in Abigail as well. I think it's going to be pretty strong, but with her base speed, I don't know if she can really use this as an opening ability, and it does give her 1 focus as well. So overall, well, let's play it out just a little bit just to watch that animation there. And as you see, when she uses the S1 here, and all units here, this must have been a soul burn one, all units are getting that extra 15%. So something to look out for. Obviously it's just the S1, so it's not going to be game breaking or anything like that, but still pretty good. All right, let's move on to the artifact. Now her artifact actually gives a crazy amount of effect resist when it's fully maxed out. It gives 40% effectiveness, effect resist, excuse me, when it's maxed out. Also, after an enemy uses a non-attack skill, increase combat readiness of the caster by up to 16%. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle, like 12, between 8 and 16, like if you have it plus 15. Can be activated once per turn. Now this is going to be really good on her. It could probably be good on some other soul weavers as well, but I would have to think in Theorycraft. This is like my first or second time watching this video. I would have to think in Theorycraft on who this would be useful on. But one thing to note here is it does also stack, so I'm gonna move back a little bit. It does also stack with her her S2 passive, which automatically gives her combat readiness of 15%. So if an enemy uses a non, so I'm gonna rewind this a little bit. Sorry, don't mean to be confusing, but just hear me out. So let's say we're in the beginning of the battle. Conqueror Lilius uses her S3 to get that vigor buff and attack down her team. This is going to give Luluca 2 focus. Luluca is also going to increase combat readiness by 15%. In addition, if Luluca is on her artifact here, she is going to get another, quote unquote, let's say about 12 to 15% combat readiness, boosting her up to 30% combat readiness, which if she's at like 220 to 240 speed, she'll probably be taking the next turn. At that point, she can go ahead and use her S3, which would be give your team the defense buff and give them I clicked on the wrong skill. It'll give them a defense buff and give them the ice cream, which in addition, and it's going to dispel 2 buffs, right? So debuffs. So it's going to make your team, it's going to cleanse off your team. It's going to give them defense buff and give them the ice cream for the healing. And then you'll get your three focus on top of that, giving you the 5 focus requirement in order for you to use your Luluca special delivery, which will then dispel 2 buffs and also silence and decrease hit chance. Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot. But the point I'm trying to get across here is she can really lock down the opposing team from doing their non-attack skill. And then in addition, it actually does make it to where, well, if you really think about it, like, I wouldn't say she's necessarily a Lua counter unless you have enough effect resist to dodge Lua's skill reset. But otherwise it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. Someone put that in the comments. Does she counter Lua? I don't really think so. But I think that she may be really good against Conqueror Lilius and maybe even Ahmed as well, because her S3 is going to be breaking those skill nullifiers, you know, and she's going to get a huge combat readiness increase. Really hard to say until we see her in play, but I want to know your guys' comments as well. Though, if you want to go ahead and leave a comment, put it down below. If you like this style of video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.